Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Wagner. I'm a firefighter and EMT here at the Cecil Township Fire Department. I'm also the training officer. Today we're coming to you on Facebook and probably other social media platforms just to kind of come to you before the Coffee with the Chief, which is this Thursday the 30th at 6 p.m. here at Station 2 in Muse. And I'm here with our Chief, Ted Wolford, and we're going to answer some questions ahead of time that we know have been kind of lingering throughout the community, and then maybe you as a resident can come down and ask some different ones or just enjoy a little bit of coffee with us. So Ted, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start at the kind of the beginning, right? So how did the Cecil Township Fire Department come into existence? How did three companies become one department or are in the process of becoming one department?
Okay, so back in the late 1940s, the fire departments were organized by people of the community who got together and made a fire department and fundraised to bring that all together. That lasted up and through the 90s and early 2000s, and today we are facing struggles with volunteers. So with that, the township is looking to assist in adding some career staffing to the fire department, and also with that, the three individual companies that had organized back in the late 49s, early 50s, are being merged together as one volunteer organization now.
Right.
So they've ran independently for all those years. And the goal is to bring them together to be one group of volunteers. They will manage all their volunteer assets as that one group of volunteers, and then we're going to add the combination paid component to that with the township. Out of the township's budget, we'll have the career staffing, and those career firefighters will work side by side with the volunteers.
Right, and that's part of what we're considering as, or what's known colloquially as the combination system.
Yes.
So in terms of the merger of the three volunteer stations, can you give us whatever progress there is on that?
Currently, we are almost ready for some legal paperwork to get going here for the merger. The volunteer firefighters are going to be given a vote and making a decision here in November on if they want their organization to participate in that merger. If all three companies' memberships vote yes, or a majority of each of those memberships vote yes, then we will start the legal process with the attorneys, the Attorney General's office, the IRS for 501c3, and the Orphans Court of Washington County, which all those different people in the mix will then merge all three of these volunteer companies to one volunteer company.
Okay.
And I want to emphasize that when we're saying we're merging, a lot of people can get confused, and I want to just make it clear that this is the business end of it.
Sure.
Right? This isn't the physical location being merged into a single location. The separate stations are still going to exist.
Okay.
So it's just the business end and all the people being brought under one company.
Okay.
One organization.
Great. So you mentioned before, you might have already answered part of this. You mentioned before about, we started the process of hiring paid staff. You were the first paid part-timer that we had here in the township.
Correct.
What was the genesis for that? And then talk a little bit more about the combination system.
So the paid staff was started to be put on because during the daylight hours when everybody was at work, there was a struggle to get the fire truck on the road.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
So when I started here, I was by myself, and I could have ran a call by myself in a fire truck all over the 26.4 square miles of Cecil Township.
Right, that's not the best case scenario.
No, it's not. we need to have a couple people in at least one fire truck to make it an adequate response for the residents.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention too that this this isn't a problem just in Cecil Township. The volunteerism throughout the state and really the country is dwindling. So this kind of merger, what we're seeing, this effort here in Cecil is happening elsewhere across the Commonwealth. We see it in our area, in the Pittsburgh area, a lot. Yeah.
And in the fire service industry, everybody from the outside of Cecil Township tells us all the time that we're just moving this right along and we're on the right path and we're making the right decisions here.
Yeah.
So we get a pat on the back and we don't even realize it a lot of the time.
Sure. So there's some concern out there, right? So we currently have the paid firefighters, and their center of operation is here in Station 2 in Muse. Now, their coverage for the entire township is centered from here. Why was the decision made to base it out of here, and how will that change in the future?
There's a couple factors with that. One, if you look at the call data throughout the township, this is the most call volume is right here. The call volume is here in Muse. The call volume is also over in South Point, which Muse is primary response to South Point. So to put the staffing somewhere, this is where we started.
Okay.
The other factor that comes into that is the Muse Volunteer Fire Department owns the building here, and their volunteer members saw a couple years ago that this was coming, and they decided to put the funds and the renovations into their building to accommodate those paid staff and their volunteers doing shifts to staff the station. So they added the bunk room and a little bit of the showers and the amenities that those people need. And we still have a little bit more work to do, but this is the best laid out station to house those career firefighters currently. We are working to get the other two stations up and renovated and be able to do the same. It just takes time to get
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So the best case scenario would be, I would love to have 2 firefighters run out of Muse or Cecil, and 2 firefighters be staffed over in Lawrence. And then that gets us 2 fire trucks on the road with at least 4 career firefighters. And the volunteers that are available will be additional staffing that we would have available to us.
Right, yeah. And that's another important note is that just because the paid staff goes out on the trucks doesn't prohibit the volunteers from responding. I myself know, I respond to here even when the paid guys leave because we routinely see more than one call come in at a time.
And Kevin is right, a lot of the times when we are on one call, we're getting dispatched to another call, and sometimes even a third call comes in, and we are overwhelmed at that point.
Yeah.
And we're really relying on our surrounding municipalities for mutual aid.
That's a good point, actually. So that's a good segue into the next question. So, the paid staff operates right now. They operate out of here, out of Station 2. Should residents be concerned about response times to kind of the outer ends of the township? So the folks up in Lawrence, or maybe on the other side of 50 towards McDonald?
For the Lawrence area, that's my second priority, right? Use in South Point's my first priority because of the call volume there, and then it goes over to the Lawrence area. So within Cecil Township, the way I can handle that is if I get, we also have a duty shift program, which means our volunteer firefighters, if they're qualified, they can receive a stipend to come in and staff the station alongside the career staff.
Right.
And if we can get up to 4 people with a combination of the career and volunteer staffing, I will send 2 people to the Lawrence station to staff that station.
Right.
It does not happen all the time. It's a struggle to make it happen. But if I get those 4 people and can make it happen, that's what we do.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we do have an agreement. We talked to Peters Township. We approached them. They're close to that side of the township. They are on a lot of the calls that we do get called to over there, so that you are getting a fire truck from Cecil and Peters Township in that Lawrence section of our township.
Yeah. And the same thing can be said on the other side, again, not as high of a call volume out towards McDonald on that side of 50, but those mutual aid agreements are in place over there as well.
So if you live in Timber Run or over off of 980 out at that end of McDonald or Rising Road, McDonald is essentially the primary responder for that side of the township. There's just no way that we can get over there quick enough. So
Right.
they are on a lot of the calls initially with us. We're responding as well. All 3 fire stations are responding to a call here
Yeah.
when we receive a call. However, in those particular areas right now, yes, Peters is responding to the Lawrence area, and McDonald is responding out on that end of 980 where McDonald.
Yeah. And these mutual aid agreements, these agreements that we have with our outside jurisdictions are 2 ways. We also get called into McDonald at certain points in time. Peters not so much because they're primarily a paid staff, but you know, our friends in Cannonsburg or over in Chartiers will commonly call us too if they have a big enough call.
Right.
So it's not just a Cecil Township centric issue.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a little bit. So for those who maybe don't know you, give us a little bit of your background.
So back in 2001, I became a junior firefighter, came up through and volunteered. I actually started out here in Cecil Township for a little bit when I lived at my grandparents in Lawrence, and then I moved over to South Fayette, volunteered over there for a while. During that time, I was able to get a job where I designed sprinkler systems.
Okay.
Started drafting or using AutoCAD to do sprinkler systems, learning that. Did that for about 4 years and was like, man, this office thing really isn't for me. Saw an ad for Mount Pleasant up in Hickory, was hiring a full-time firefighter, and I applied.
Okay.
And went and interviewed and got a call that night and said, hey, you were the best interview we had. We like you. We want you to come work for us. So that was my start of being a career firefighter. Prior to that, in 2017, I was always a volunteer from 2001 to 2017. So in 2017, in September, I took that job with Mount Pleasant. I worked there for a few years. Kept advancing myself. I got my bachelor's degree in fire administration online through the Columbia Southern University. I attended a 5-week program over the years, 1 week each year, through the Pennsylvania State Fire Academy called Structures 1 through 4. With that, there's also the Officer's Command class. So I've completed that program. I also completed Officers 1 through 4 through Bucks County Community College online during COVID. They offered a lot of classes
Online,
COVID,
yeah.
So I was able to complete that. So, and then all while that was going on, I joined North Shebane Fire Department as a volunteer firefighter and did their duty shift program to learn more about it. And they're a busy department. I wanted to go get more experience. So I ran a lot of calls with them and got the experience. Then another ad came up, Peters Township. Went and tested for them and was offered a part-time job. Soon later, I was offered a full-time position with them and got to work for them for a few years. And I actually, during that, I went and got hired part-time at North Shebane, and then the Cecil position opened up. And I've always lived in Cecil Township for most of my life. I've lived here most of my life, but we lived in South Fayette for a while. But Cecil's always been home to me, right? So I saw the Cecil thing pop up, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to put in for that and help the chief here at the time out and go work for Cecil Township and see what I can do. And then the Cecil Township chief at that time, he had a better opportunity he took. So I kind of was asked to, hey, will you step into this position?
Right.
And here we are today.
Yeah.
Now the fire chief, and every day I'm being told we're doing great things here and everybody's loving it. So
Yeah.
It's been an awesome ride so far, and I know we got a long way to go to accomplish a lot more, but every day I wake up, man, I'm happy to be here.
That's good. Yeah. And it's interesting that you got that experience from North Strabane, which a lot of folks in the area consider the successful model for the combination system. Our demographics with North Strabane in Cecil are very similar. So
Yes.
we know that the system can work. It's just a matter of going through and making that change.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
All right, so we're back. Sorry about that. Stuff happens in the middle of our interview, but that happens on a daily basis to you. So
Yep.
almost, very similar topic of conversation, right? We were on what is your responsibility on the fire ground at an incident, as opposed to maybe what a traditional firefighter or responder would do.
So my responsibility is to have command and control of that scene, right? Somebody needs to establish command and take control and step back and look at the big picture of what's going on there. Also, I'm communicating with the crews that are investigating whatever the problem might be or handling whatever the issue is. And if they need more resources, if they need more help, that's something that I would do, is make that decision to call in. And I'm call in for either more mutual aid, or if I have units on scene that I can handle putting more crews into areas of a building or whatever the scene may be, we can do that. I'm also tracking who's all on that scene, where they're at. God forbid somebody calls a mayday, and that a mayday is whenever a firefighter's in trouble. We would need those firefighters to go. We would need firefighters to go save the troubled firefighters, right, and rescue them and help them take care of their issue and eliminate that problem. So if we have a bunch of firefighters going to help down firefighters, we still have a problem that needs to be taken care of. So that makes things even more difficult for us to handle at a scene.
Right.
So all that being done, like I said earlier, I went through that 5-week series of training at the Pennsylvania State Fire Academy.
Right.
One of those classes was Officer's Command. In Officer's Command class, the standard that they teach us is to stay in a sterile environment,
Right.
which is inside of a vehicle, because I can be in climate control, whether it's hot or cold outside. I have a quiet area. I can hear the radio and what's going on and listen to transmissions that are coming over the radio and not miss anything.
Right.
And my thoughts and my processes are in an environment where I can think and make sure the right things are happening.
Right. You don't have interruptions or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no
Right.
interruptions. So on the other side of that, people have ran command from out in the street next to the fire engine,
Yeah.
and the engine's revved all the way up because the pump's on,
Right.
and their radio's right here. There's people coming up and talking to them, and they take their hand and they put it over their microphone, and they're listening to you talk, yet there's a mayday going on over the radio.
Right.
And we don't want that to happen here. So that's why we take the steps and we follow the industry standards of putting our command officers inside of a vehicle in that sterile environment.
Same concept for like pilots in a sterile cockpit, right?
Yes.
Especially when they're landing or taking off. There's a lot going on.
Right.
So you just want to sit there and focus. And routinely you will have a co-pilot. You might bring in another chief to help run operations.
And that's called a command aid.
Right.
And at the Horns Auto Fire we recently had, our chief of the Muse station, the battalion chief there, was first on scene. He established command, and he had command the whole time, essentially, right? When I pulled in, showed up, he got in my vehicle. I let him run command, and I was his command aide. So just because I'm the chief doesn't mean I'm always going to have to be in command. I let the other guys handle command if they take it and get the ball rolling first.
Right.
I'll come in and be the aide if I have to. We have to take in the fire service, we have to step in where we're needed and make it happen.
Right. If you would have taken command over at that point, let's say at that fire, for instance, the battalion chief, Chief 282, would have to brief you on everything that was going on and catch you up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he might be missing something, so he just keeps on doing it, and you assist him however he needs.
And it was a little exciting there at first, even inside that command vehicle, because we had a lot of apparatus. Fire trucks were showing up all at the same time, requesting orders. and we were trying to get them positioned around that building because it was well involved in fire.
Yeah.
And we potentially had some people inside, which we determined later on that they got out,
Right.
which luckily, but yeah, even in that command vehicle, things can get a little hectic, but with how we operate, we brought the chaos to a calm and handled that incident the best we could.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about finances. So in reference to the fire tax, talk a little bit about how the fire tax started, what happened to that, how it got lumped into the overall township budget, and then, why it became such a hot topic a few weeks ago.
So it's my understanding, and this was before me, there was a 0.27 mils fire tax that was split up and distributed to each of the 3 volunteer fire companies equally, up to them to spend as they seen fit. At some point, the township decided to take the 0.27 mils and just roll it into the general fund and not have a fire tax anymore.
A separate fire tax.
Yeah, so basically it was moved over into the general side of the taxes. So it was in the overall millage.
It's probably important to mention the fire companies at that point were still getting money from the township. It was just coming out of the general fund, I guess, instead of the separate fire tax.
Yeah, I believe so.
Right.
Right. But now they're entertaining putting the fire tax back on. I really don't have any updated information on where that is right now. Over the next couple months, hopefully we'll have this figured out. But as far as I understand, your overall tax millage in Cecil Township is 1.5 mils, and it's not going to raise.
Okay.
So your taxes are going to stay at 1.5 mils.
Okay. And you, as the fire chief, have no say in the fire tax whatsoever?
Correct.
Okay.
That's up to the Board of Supervisors. If they want to put a fire tax on, that's their decision. So it's not really much for me to talk about.
You provide them the budget of
Yes.
the projection of what the fire department might need.
Yes.
Which could include a variety of items.
Correct. It could include payments for fire trucks. It could include the staffing that we want to put on in the fire stations. The budget includes bills that get paid every day. The township pays the utilities for each of the fire stations, some of their maintenance costs, some of their everyday janitorial supplies get paid for out of the township budget. Insurances, workers' compensation, a lot of that stuff comes out of the township budget, which helps with the fire service here.
Okay. Speaking of apparatus, can you give us an update on the new fire engine the township had purchased, and where will that fit into operations?
So the new fire engine is almost complete. The dealership that we bought it through has reached out to me about a week ago, said that we're looking at mid-November to take our folks on the committee for that apparatus out to their location. We'll have to fly out and stay in a hotel. We'll do a final inspection over a day or two just to make sure everything's good to go with that truck. Everything's how we want it to be. It operates the way it should, and we confirm all that before they drive it back here and deliver it to us.
Okay.
So mid-November, we should be going out to do that. Probably, as long as there's no issues, looking at the beginning of December, we should have it here in Pennsylvania. Little bit of time will occur where we'll have to put equipment on that truck and get tools mounted into it. So I wouldn't say that new fire engine would probably be on the road answering calls until probably January of 26, once all that's all said and done.
Okay. Last question. So knowing Cecil Township, right, you've been almost a lifelong resident. There's a lot of opinion pages out there. There's a lot of misinformation, some disinformation that's out there. Again, not to call anybody specific out, right? It just, it happens within local governments and residents really wanting to be engaged in what's going on. Is there anything else that you want the residents of Cecil Township to know?
I'm available Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 for the residents. Even if it's worse than that, but try to reach out to me 8 to 4. If you have a question or a concern and it involves the fire department, we can work with you one-on-one to address that. And hopefully these sessions, these videos that we're putting out, the coffee with the chief, can clear up maybe some misunderstandings that are out there.
Yeah.
And hopefully educate the residents on what we are as the fire department and what we're here to do and why we're doing the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
And overall, the things that we're doing are to serve the residents of Cecil Township the best that we can with what we have.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're really struggling. We're trying every day to make this better and better, but what we have is what we have, and that's what we're going to work with. And until we can increase staffing and get more, it's not going to get better until that happens.
Yeah.
And, you know, starting November 1st, we've been really working at our volunteer recruitment campaign and our program for that. So a lot of social media will start filling up with our volunteer recruitment after November 1st. So if you're looking to volunteer with us, this is kind of like an early opening. We'd love to have you. It's something that you can be a part of. We know this isn't for everybody. We don't just have firefighting positions here. There's other things that need done. You know, after the call, things need cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
People can help out with that stuff too. We have the support services membership that you can fall into if you don't want to respond to calls. But if you want to respond to calls, starting in January, we're looking at having our own class right here in Cecil Township to train firefighters that want to be volunteers.
Yeah. And
there might be a little bit of, you know, travel to some of the fire academy locations. If we end up with a acquired structure throughout the year, we could utilize that, but that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
But we're looking to make everything happen right here locally for you if you want to come volunteer for us, so that we're valuing your time as a volunteer firefighter with us.
Yeah, yeah. And to that end, so on the screen, there'll be a QR code to go to our website. So if you want to volunteer, there's an application on the website, or you want to find out some more information. And of course, you know, we'll say again, and you mentioned Coffee with the Chief. It'll be this Thursday, October 30th at 6 p.m. here at Station 2 in Muse. Now, not just restricted to Muse residents. So anybody within Cecil Township is more than welcome to come down. And our intention is to hold more than one of them at our various other stations. So
Coleman Taylor Funeral Services reached out to us and said, would you be interested in doing this? We did do one with them at Billy Ann's Diner previously. The police department was also there with us. They're the sponsor of this. They're supporting it. So thanks to Coleman Taylor Funeral Services.
Absolutely.
They're doing a great job. They're really trying to get us out there. So thank you to them. Right now, yes, we only have the date for Muse picked out. As we're getting into the holiday season here, things are getting a little busy for people.
Right.
So we're going to pick some more dates out. We're going to get down to Cecil on Miller's Run. We're going to get over to Lawrence, and we're going to be local to those residents as well, so we can have a coffee with the chief over there.
Absolutely. Well, great. Well, thank you, Chief, for your time today, and thank you all for your time, and we hope to see you here on the 30th. Thanks.